I want to keep this short and just a thought that kind of sums it up. I'm slowly restoring after horrible traumatic injuries in Texas. I won't go into detail, but basically, there's a principle that I talk about in The Storm of the Century, and I used to keep those thoughts simply reserved in that animated poem, but now I see they're really practical stuff. And so there's actually two things. There's a concept of variables, and there's the complex system of structure that extends in all directions. And those directions include vertical, horizontal, and depth, which in mathematical terms is the x, y, and z axis. So we have x, I think it's x, I can't remember. I think it's x, y, and z axis. So when you plot those out, you see it's a scaffolding of cubes. So that's how we envision space in the 3D. And the 3Ds are vertical, horizontal, and depth. That's the three dimensions. There's vertical dimension, horizontal dimensions, and those are the two dimensions. Vertical and horizontal are flat. That's it. The third dimension is the z-axis, depth. Can't really see it on a 2D screen like this, but I'm doing it with my finger. That's the z-axis, front to back. So that's the structure that extends in all directions. And it leads you to the illusion that you're on the flat earth because you can't really feel the curvature of the earth. So and the way that our buildings and our streets and highways and maps and railroads and most things crisscross across the continents perpendicularly. And you'll notice that you feel more calm in a quadrangle, a rectangle, square space. You feel calmer because you're not used to, and I mean you, most of you Westerners, are not used to circular spaces. So we have the X, Y, and Z axis, vertical, horizontal, and depth. And then we have the complex system of variables. The other thing that's going on here, besides that, actually there's a third system, and that's the system of motion. And we have positive upward motion, positive upward motion, pressure upward, and then we have negative depression motion, downward. And then we have that ideal flatlined, that's another word for death, flatlined, balanced neutrality. So we have three extremes of force. We have positive, negative, and neutral. And again, they fall on the x-axis. I believe the x-axis, I haven't said it this a long time, I forgot. The x-axis, up and down. So we have positive, negative, and neutral. And don't forget, everything is sculpture, because everything is sculpture. And then we have a complex system of variables. So that complex system of variables are the combinations of positive, negative, and neutral. All of those quantifiable increments up and down the Richter scale and the depth and shallow scale, this way and this way and this way. So we have all of these incremental points within the infinite extending structure of space. So you have positive, negative, and neutral in three-dimensional space: horizontal, vertical, and depth. 3D. And so basically, the easiest way to do it is to envision, which we should be able to do this pretty well now, a platform, like an arena, or a pedestal, or a page, or a gallery space, or a stage, a platform. And in the arena of art, which is also a metaphor for the brain, like the holodeck, notice that we have temples. See where your temples are? Temples. Here are your twin towers right here, your temples. And then we have the holodeck right here. Or is that your third eye? I don't know. It's always closed. Or is it? Wide open. Anyways, your holodeck is right here. And anything can happen, que sera, within this space here. So that's my concept of what I like to consider structured freedom. So basically, when Warhol says I have a 40 by 40 inch square, and I put a little blue here, and then I look to see if it's spaced right, and then I put a little blue here, and then I look to see if it's spaced right, and then I flip it to the right, and flip it to the left, and then I add a little bit of neon pink, and then I add a little yellow, and then I add some more electric orange, and then I maybe put some neon green, until it looks like an orgasm. And then I decide whose shadow of death photograph to depict over it permanently, pressing the black shadow of instant capturing of a person at the epiphany high point of their career, squeezing it over the neon hot orgasmic colors and fusing it into a permanent record of time, like a butterfly captured between two pieces of microscopic lens glass. Slides, if you will. Slides. Film? Video? Do you get it? So basically you have a square, and then anything can happen in the square. Anything can happen. And if you find the complementary components of good composition, notice that the composition exists in 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, and in music. It's all called composition. Yeah, so you compose the space, and what you're trying to do is have some tension to get your attention, and some intrigue, and something sexy, really. And because we all like to look at ourselves, and action. You like that term? Yeah, so action is really interesting. And then we have movies, cowboys, the movies, and we have motion pictures that exist in a giant rectangle, and we watch them in a cold, dark room. In a black box theater. A theater is another platform where anything can happen in the arena. What we usually do is we use these vehicles, vessels, platforms, pages, pedestals, gallery spaces, theaters, phone screens. We use them to make a point. Or sometimes to just provoke thoughts. Like the one I'm trying to have now that I can't tell if I'm successful or brilliantly failing. But in any case, it helps me make these notes because I want to get down that there are these elements, these components of perception, and they are the first dimension of vertical, the second dimension of horizontal. What happened to my light? And the third dimension of depth. That's the third 3D. That's that 3D. You like to say that? That's the 3D. The 4D, the fourth D, is time. So when you have a metronome, when you have a metronome, you're actually, and you compose precisely on a staff, treble or bass clef staff of 5 lines and 4 spaces. Like Mozart, what you're doing is you're predicting and structuring notes and pitches and duration in time. So the musical staff is more or less a kind of a comic book. Because a comic book is another kind of storyboard. And in each square is another captured moment in the story. Comic books are just fascinating because there's each cell, each framed image of the comic is a slice of time frozen, and it's a perfect depiction of what art is. All throughout the two-dimensional history, in the Louvre, in the Met, in the MoMA, and the Whitney, all of them feature these paintings, flattened, frozen slices of time. Okay, that's all I've got for now. But basically, there's 3 dimensions. There's the vertical, horizontal, and depth, 3 dimensions. And there's the forces of positive rising, depression falling, and neutrality. So we have 3 dimensions of force. And when you combine those things, and you learn how to structure and compose your space, mental space, physical space, you understand better how to have a happy life. Let's hope. All we are saying is give peace a chance. Wasabi peas? Wakarimasu ka? Wakarimasu ka? Skosh, skosh, shwe shwe, skosh, skosh, skosh desu ne, shwe shwe, min fadlik. Okay. A bientôt.